Hey, good day, hi, and welcome. What happened here? What the hell happened here? Did cocaine blow up in my house? No, it's what you call it? Baking soda. Yeah, I'm gonna try the baking soda stuff. So move some orders, but okay, nothing in that one. Oh, I got another guy there. That's 10. Poor little guy. Poor little mouse. The mouses aren't doing so good in my house right now. But I've got the barrel of doom down here. We'll see how it did. I don't see any mice floating in there. Nope. Nothing in the barrel of doom. I'll leave it. I've got peanut butter in there, so like if they're gonna come in, that's where they're gonna come in. I better give you the nice glorious morning view. I don't have to. Yeah, my client's till about 10 or so. So there's Grandpa's old rake. Brought down Dad's shovel so I can dig out the back wall. I started. So look at that nice morning view. It's pretty nice. Oh, sorry. It's pretty nice anyway. So there you go. You get some. Take a good look at that and some of the junk in there, because after today, it's gone. I gotta get rid of my mouse here. Oh, that one got him good. Yeah, there you go. Okay. Something's taking the mice anyway. Something's eating the mice. Probably other mice. All right, so yeah, it seems like they're all coming out of there. So if that's their main route, that's their main route. But they're not going after that trap. They're just going after this trap. So I'll have to reload this, and then see if I can. It's quite cool out there. I did bring something down though that I want to show you guys before I head off to work. Found a battery, so I was able to get my. It's mainly for my instruments and stuff like that, but it tells you the temperature, and it's a 16.5 degrees in here, and humidity level at 60. But we'll see. I'll leave it around for a couple minutes. It was in the bag, so it might not be super accurate. But it is kind of like the humidity level is kind of high right now. This time of year, because we're in the fall and it's very dewy in the morning. I got to make sure I bring in all my my plants. I'll show you what all my herbs. Hang on. I don't want to walk through the grass yet because it's all wet, but I end up with wet feet. Sorry, little mouse got to get him out of the kick him out of the way here. Stepping on dead mice all the time every time I come in at my house. I'll get them. But at least if I catch them there, they're not running all over the place. But well, everything still seems to be alive. I figured the morning dew, not in the direct sunlight. I got to get them into the set up into the planters a little bit better. But there's sage and jasmine and rosemary and tarragon and thyme and oregano. Yeah. I was emptying the planters for my client because she doesn't keep them. She just replants it every year. The stuff will come back. My goal is to find a spot on the property here somewhere where I can have it grow. I'm not going to put it up tight to the house. I don't want anything tight to the house. I don't know why people plant stuff tight to the house. It's a bad idea. It's just a bad idea. That's any house. New house, old house, don't matter. Don't do that. Kind of might look aesthetic, but it's going to create a lot of problems for you. Oh, the humidity level actually went up in here. That's not good. Not supposed to go up. It's 61 right now, so you can understand why. Anything above 60 you really don't want. But even the house up home is at like about 60 or so, 59, 60, just due to the fact that there's so much You know, it's the time of year, right? So it's the fall, so it's damp in the mornings. Get another good slop of peanut butters on there. Oop, trying not to get it on that. Try to get it on this. Yo, buggers are going to cost me a fortune in peanut butter. This jar was already here, so it didn't cost me anything. But if it cost me a jar of peanut butter to get rid of all the mice in here, so be it. But it's just the idea that it takes a whole jar of peanut butter to get all the mice. Whoop. Will it stay? Will it stay? Will it stay? But the mice are only coming out at night. They're not coming out at the day during the day at all. I am sure that trap, because that trap is clean, and so is that trap. Like some of the mice are really, really crafty little buggers. They can actually, like eat all the peanut butter without setting off the trap. It's quite the skill level when you think about it. It's like that's like Sneak Master 8000. So I gotta get all my stuff ready to go. Another load of dishes to put away. It's getting there, guys. So get rid of all that today and wash all that. That's a lot of dishes. The jars are going to have to find a way to sterilize those. I'm just going to clean them for now and then I'll sterilize them. I'm not sure we're going to put them. Got to clean that out really well before I even think about something like that. Maybe I'd put them in here. It's not too bad of a place. Definitely got to be cleaned out big time. So I'm going to use this drawer, these two cabinets, and if I have any more than that, the only other thing I got to get is the frying pan that was here was not good, but there might be two good frying pans that I could take from up home, and I wouldn't mind better pots. And like this is an okay pot, but it's kind of big. Pots like this are okay, but I need at least two, and the lids for them. I have to go through all this stuff, see what's in there. That's good. Like half of this stuff could probably be chucked out, and will be chucked out, but we'll see. I clean these up, clean all the forks and knives, and then clean these things. Then the counter will be clean, and then I can put my microwave back on the counter. Yeah, no, I'm trying the absorbent of baking powder. There's baking powder here, and Arm & Hammer baking soda, baking powder. I'm going to use this stuff up before I buy any new stuff. So yeah, that's where I'm at. So I got about half an hour. So make sure I got all my blogs. I don't know how much energy I'm going to have today, but if I have the correct energy when I come home, seeing I'm going to be doing a bunch of pick stuff anyway. Did I forget? Oh, okay. I'm going to be doing a bunch of pick stuff anyway, meaning, getting the pick, and I got to dig a trench for a power ground line from one house to the little art studio thing that I insulated. Oh, better load this guy. So I got to do that. And depending on how long that takes and how exhausted I am from it, depends on how many roots and rocks are going to hit along the way. But if it's not too bad and I get home, I'm going to start going on the back wall again. If I get the back wall done by the end of September, that'd be awesome. Even if I don't get it all done in one night, spend 15 minutes out there a night, by the end of the week I might have it all cleared out the way I want. And I'd like to get it back at minimum 3 feet. And 3 blocks down, 3 feet back. That's the minimum. And then on the next rainstorm or whatever comes first, I can see exactly. I'll be able to see exactly where's leaking, what's leaking. And maybe I get lucky, and by just taking that away from off the back wall, stops the leaks itself. And if that's the case, major win for a little cost. I'll still buy some new tar and seal up the back wall because I don't want the back wall. I don't want the back wall leaking, right? So it's not even if the water's not hitting it, it means it's still in leak mode. Ugh, these poor pants. Okay. So I thought I was going to be starting a lot later today, but my clients wanted to be there when I started digging, so maybe they have some other stuff for me to do too. So it's like, okay, well, I thought they weren't going to be up till about noon, so I thought, well, maybe I'll get a start on this here. But I didn't want to burn myself out and then go there and be like, oh, okay, I'm done for the day and I'm just starting. But if I can get it done in a couple of hours, I could be back here and spend the rest of the afternoon on the back wall there. I started on it the other day just to, I can't tear it. The pant leg. There, got that off. It keeps going under the bottom of my foot there, trying to trip me. Or pull my pants off. But tomorrow is the big day for let's go put this in where my guitars and drums are, where it belongs. So it's been cool enough last night there. I started doing some stuff in here. I'll just set this over here, but not fully set up. So what I did in here, I'll show you what I did in here. So there I got my hydrometer in there. My guitar's in the other room, but I'll have it in this room, that room, just to see. So I started putting guitar strings in. I just emptied out a tote. I'll organize it after. Whatever. Whoa, look at this. Okay, something big came down there. Yeah. I think I need to move my mouse traps over here. I think, yeah, that's a huge mess there coming down. So there's not a big ass animal up there. That's probably just from the mice. Maybe I need to move the pail of doom. I know what I do. Move the pail of doom so when they drop in, they drop right into it, right into the pail. I bet you that'd work better. I have it in the basement, but I'm like, no, I'm gonna put it up here. That way, when they drop down, they drop right into the pail. Just put like about 4 pails there. That's what I'm gonna do. The doom pail. So try to catch as many mice as possible before the winter. Yeah, that's a mess they left me there. So. But that's I'd rather know kind of where they're coming in from. For sure. Now they'll be able to climb that, so they come in 2 ways, but my hope is that they'll just fall into it. What they're probably aiming for is this, and whatever, but they might go there and there. We'll see. We'll see what they'll do. So yeah, the doom pail is there. Like, the idea is find where they're coming in the most and then put the traps where they're coming in the most, right? So we know they're coming in there for sure. I'm sure they got the peanut butter off that one. They did. Without setting it off. This one, though. Yeah, they got the peanut butter off of that one, too. Oh, buggers. So I got to buy new traps that are a little more sensitive. You got to think about how like gentle that is to not set those traps off. Like they're crazy. But these big pails, you just go in them and you're doomed. So I got my peanut butter on the walls of the pail. So it's like, even if they don't fall in the pail when they jump in or jump down, there's a good chance that they'll like, hey, what's that smell that I smelled on the way down? Oh, I'm going to go up here. And that's it. That's the end of them. Then they're not running all over my house, stinking up the place. Oh boy. So yeah. So I got a bunch of stuff to do today. And I was looking at ozone treatment, buying one of them. Air purifiers. I've been looking at that. Like, I want to get stuff that's effective. Like the ozone treatment thing seems like a really, really effective thing, and it's not really bloody expensive, and it's something you can keep using, right? Which I am gonna get the sprays, like the RMR 86 stuff. Something I did is I took my cymbal off my drum because it was shading the when the sun hits, it was shading the mold spot, and I want the sun to hit it. It's completely bone dry right now, but I want the sun to hit it and kill it because sun kills mold. So best disinfectant is sunlight. So, and then the goal, like I say, as soon as I get that back wall dug out to the satisfactory. The next stage is pretty simple, and that is cover the windows, and then I'll have that done. If I can have that done before October, that's great. And then tomorrow, getting all that round one of the large waste pickup, or might as well say large waste drop off. Once all that stuff is gone and all that stuff over in the woodshed there is gone, so I could take some of the stuff in here and put it in there till I go through it, because like this is all my brother's stuff here. The stuff on the back is mine. Everything up to here is stuff to go through, like these pots and pans and stuff. That's going to go into my scrap metal pile, but I'll get this out of the way first, and get cleaned up in here, get everything set up so I can start doing some work in here. Like the lawnmowers, for example, I got to store those in the woodshed once I can get in there. What I got to do though is, I don't know why my brother did it this way. He sealed off the main door. This was always open up, but what I'm going to do is take that plywood there. I might just be sitting there too. Take that plywood there and put it here, seal this off. See this, because there used to be this used to all be enclosed, right? Now it's like an extra door. But I'd rather be able to get in there, because you can walk right in from the ground, where you got to step over the base plate of the building, right? But I got to clean all that stuff out so that I don't step on nails and everything. And I got to dig all this out probably about 4 feet from the wall. I got the pick to go through it. It wasn't as bad as I thought with the briars. I figured the roots would be, like a real nightmare, but it actually wasn't bad. It wasn't bad at all. So that's what I'm going to do there. Get this taken away. Get the insulation gone. That's a big one. I don't know. Maybe they take it this round, maybe not. I'll have to get some bags and stuff like that there. I think it's just wrapped in a tarp. Because I can't get in there really with that there, and I don't like to move it too much because insulation just makes such a mess and stuff like that. So, but it'll be good to get all this stuff gone, and I won't look like it won't look like a scene from the Trailer Park Boys here. All the junk in front of your house. I can't stand that at all. But I will get it all kind of done. And then once I get this all nice and cleaned out, I can put my motorbike there. Maybe, either there, or if I get it done well enough and that it's smooth enough to go in, I can get it in there too. But I'd rather here because there's more light. And but we'll see. Well, it depends how much I can clean out of there. That's going to be a big job cleaning all that out, eh? So it's going to be a huge job. Got all that copper there. I don't know if my brother's going to keep that or not, but if he doesn't, I will. Yeah. And then there's my brother's winter tires. I gotta bring down all my winter tires for vehicles I don't have anymore, but except for one. Yeah. All right. Gotta wait till the store opens and jump on that. So I'd like to get that cleaned up. Well, I gotta put it this way. That's my Dimebag Darrell pedal. I borrowed that from my buddy Jason. That was like almost 10 years ago. Yeah, I'll bring it right back to you. I haven't seen him hardly at all. And every time I say, yeah, I still got your pedal. I didn't forget. I got to bring it back. He says, yeah, whatever. It's not really his cup of tea, so he doesn't really care. So not pounding down my door for it yet. So if he's not pounding down my door for it, maybe I'll hang on to it for a little longer. I don't know. We'll see. Anything can happen. Anything can happen. That poor 12 string. I tried to play around with it last night there and see if it had intonated a bit, but yeah, I still got to do a major cleanup in there too. But that's like low priority. Back walls top priority, windows are second top priority, cleaning around the house, the outside exterior is a top priority, and then everything else in here is just kind of, getting these dishes was kind of a bit of a top priority too, because it's just, I can't do nothing until, like everything's put away and stuff like that. It's just to get it off the list, right? Because, you spend a couple of, half an hour doing this and then you get half an hour doing that. You're dividing your time up into 10 different things, right? But it all has to be done and whatever. So now, like the baking soda, we'll try the baking soda solution, see how much odor it absorbs. But I'm going to try a few leather products. I got to research the leather products. Like, I don't just go out to the store and just buy stuff. Like, there's a lot of, like, you wouldn't think there would be a YouTube niche for this, but they're niche, whatever you want to call it, for this. But people, like cleaning agencies, like, here's how we get stains out of this, clean my house, get rid of odors for this, that, mold, everything. And there's solutions out there. It's just which is the most viable and economical and just smart solution for this place. This place really isn't anywhere near as bad. Like, for example, I was watching a video on how to get rid of dog pee, right? Like, like some people have dogs. Yes, the dogs have probably peed in here a few times. And that odor is just like almost impossible because it stays in there, right? And like I say, most of the smell that you smelled in here was the dog, right? And, if your dog pees in your floor like once every 6 months, not as big of a deal, but that still stays. But if you have one of those little dogs that just pees and pees and pees and pees and pees, that's going to saturate your house. This house isn't that bad. Like the dogs were put outside, to go to the bathroom. It's just maybe once in a while, if they didn't get back in time, maybe one of them might have let loose, you know what I mean? And not their fault, if they're stuck inside, right? But that said, like you still want to get as much scent out of there as possible. And the ozone kills a lot. The low-tech solutions is like baking soda, leaving out a bowl of vinegar. But I'm not going to do that stuff until I get everything cleaned out. Like the first step is airing the place out. The second step is cleaning the damn place. Like you get rid of dust and stuff like that and vacuum the place out really well. That'll take away a lot of smell. And, like, you don't realize it like when you're like this, but, whenever you get like a sun ray coming through the window and you move your hand across something, you'll see dust flying. And when you see that dust flying, that's what you're breathing in, right? So, gee, no wonder people are sick all the time, right? I'm not sure but if I should water that plant or not. Okay, guys, you're about to witness me either kill the plant or like that. That one, I don't know. Gee, why is the humidity high in here? I don't know. Just a little. Just a little. If I come back and they're like lying on the ground, it's like, oops. Oh well. Oh well. I'm pretty sure I put water in that. I'm hoping that's what was in there, not air freshener. I just watered them with air freshener. Killed them. Poor little buggers. Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna have to make the journey up there and see what all the insulation, that blowing insulation, that's gonna be a nightmare to deal with all that. But that's gonna be like a next year problem. For this year, it's like get rid of the mice in it. It could be 1,000 mice up there. Like I'm at 10 mice already, so pretty much a mouse a day. So it's like they're here. Like, I mean, they're coming out of the wall here, so they're probably coming from upstairs. They seem to be coming out that way. So this one, not as much. I only caught a couple of mice on this one. But I'm gonna have traps like everywhere as soon as I get a chance to go to the like be next month before I get a chance to go to the like to the hardware store and all that, and like I'll have to borrow my dad's truck or whatever because that's one downside of not having your own vehicle. It's like you have to plan everything out around other people's vehicles, right? And so when I go, I'm gonna go to Renfrew and I'm just gonna buy everything. Like I'll go to the there's a Home Depot up there. There's a Home Hardware up there. There's just about everything, which will have pretty much all the stuff I need. I'll check it all online first, make sure they have it, and then go from there. Got my wah pedal in there. Got all kinds of good stuff in there. How much time do I got? I still got another half an hour to wait, which would be nice to be able to sit in my chair, but I'm just going to let that sit. Just going to let that fester for a bit. I'll throw this guy in here for now. Just throw him on the chair. So, yeah. So my whole kit and caboodle here is to descent the place the best I can. Airing it out has been like a big one. But we'll see what happens when the humidity levels really spike, like how bearable or unbearable it might be. Because remember, there's a lot of smells I removed just by getting rid of like the trap. Like I still have to clean out the fridge here, which I'm not sure if I'll be able to. I'll ask when I bring the first load up. I said if I brought a box or a bag loaded with all the stuff from the fridge, would you mind? Because like this needs to be. I already took out the really really gross moldy stuff, but this fridge needs to be really descented. Like, I mean, all that stuff there, God knows how old all that stuff is. Like those old oysters and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, I really don't want to be playing around with that. A lot of it I could just dump out and stuff like that, but that takes time too. So if I could just put it in a box and take it right up there and dump it, like it's gone and it's dealt with. You know what I mean? And then it's just a matter of unplugging the fridge, opening and airing it out. And that's going to be, a really nasty smell released in here. So I don't want to unplug the fridge until I'm ready to wash it. So, do it on a day off or whatever. Come in, unplug it, open the doors, let things thaw out, start washing it right away. So it never gets a chance to really like stink up the house. You know what I mean? So it'll stink up the house a bit. But I'm going to Javex the living snot balls out of that, because again, there was moldy stuff in there. And that's like most of the smells of stuff in here was stuff like that. Like, okay, that chair probably was, a little bit musty or whatever. But I might still be able to salvage that chair, like it's not that bad. It's just it's not that great either, The big one is the basement. Keeping it dry, and then like I say, an ozone treatment in the basement might be the way to go, because that would really kill off any sort of odors or whatever. The way the ozone works is you get basically when you have a thunderstorm, okay, the lightning creates ozone, and ozone sucks up odors and stuff like that and deteriorates it, breaks it down. So when you do an ozone treatment, that's what you're effectively doing. Is it's taking all the ozone fills in and on the surfaces and in the air and everything like that. And what happens is when you do this, any sort of bacteria or whatever breaks down. That's why you get all this kind of hazy gas coming off the ozone. And ozone is not safe for pets, plants, or people. So I don't know what the fate of these plants are going to be. Depends when I get the ozone. If I have to put the plants out in the middle of January, well, so be it. But I'd like to, if I do the ozone thing, it might be not till next year, but if I could do it, say, before the end of October or November, on a day where I can open, like close all the windows, do like a 6-hour treatment, whatever, after I've cleaned the place completely. Okay, because there's no point in trying to kill all the smells if you did. You got to remove the source, and then work on removing the smell. So it's going to take about 8 months to probably get the really mustiness out of this house. It'll never totally be gone. It's an old house. It is what it is. But if there's no reintroduction of any like extreme moisture or water running in the basement, at that point, there's, like if there's no water running in the basement, then the basement is not going to get as musty. I mean, it's a basement, so you have to air it out. Let some water run. You have to air it out so that when you do have a high humidity level or whatever, that it doesn't just stink so bad that, like, oh my God, I can't breathe. Summertime, they'll probably crack a window, right? Wintertime, cracking a window might not be as viable, right? So, water here is pretty good. I think the big one is just you got to run your taps enough to flush them. Because I've noticed like a little bit of improvement in the water the last past week or so, just because I've been running the water. Because I'm not running the water as much, right? So the water sits in the pipes; it's kind of stagnant. So it's a good idea to run your water for about 15 to 30 seconds every morning before you drink it and stuff like that. Just clear out whatever's in the pipe, right? And these are old pipes and stuff like that. But I noticed there must be a lot of calcium buildup in these pipes, because like the cold water, the hot water not so much, but the cold water pipes seem to be like in the bathroom. They're almost like a trickle when you have them wide open, and the tap is working fine. It's not the tap or anything like that. It's just there's literally not enough flow coming through. So there must be like big buildups of calcium in there or something like that. It happens, like it's old pipes, right? Like, I mean, if I fixed everything in this place that needed to be fixing, you're talking about bulldozing it and starting over is what you're talking about, which I'm not willing to do that. I'm not going to be, like I don't own the place, right? So definitely going to try to get the humidity level down with my dehumidifier. That helps to clean out. The reason why I want to do that, like I want to get the humidity level like at 40% or like bone dry when I apply the all the anti-mold products, right? So I'll do the anti-mold thing first. Obviously I'm going to clean it, Operation Pine Sol, which I'm getting very, very close to getting it getting right into that, but like until the back wall's dug out, I mean, you can do Operation Pine Sol in the middle any time of the year, right? So I'd rather just get all the walls and that washed, even if it takes me into October, because what's going to happen is next weekend, I don't know if I'm going to be working 2 days or one day for sure. So I might only have 1 day off next week, right? So it's hard to say. But like I say, I do a little bit each night, come in, okay, yeah, I'm tired from work, okay, but I'll spend, 10 minutes, 15 minutes digging out the back wall. Come in here, do dishes for another 15 minutes. Right now, what I'm doing is just, okay, once the tray's full, that's all the dishes I'm doing for today. Sweep, mouse removal, dead mouse removal. That's my first thing in the morning that I do. So I'm going to get back to like the brush cutting and all that stuff, but that's the least priority. The thing is to make the place as livable for the winter as possible. Getting the shop back down here this week coming. I'll probably get it down here this weekend. Getting the windows sealed up. Like once the windows are sealed up and the back wall's dug out, then I can focus a little more on in here. And then or the half in here and half cutting down brush and stuff like that. Because the brush, I mean, it's not going anywhere, so it'll be there. Plenty of it there next year. But the more I can get done this year, like I got around the house fairly cleared. I want to get all the junk and all the rocks and all the bricks or whatever's laying around the house that's been laying around the house for years. Anything that, because I want to be able to come in close with the riding mower, right? Because that makes life easy. The less whippersnipping you have to do, the faster you can typically get it done. So if I can get the riding mower almost tight to the house, that's why I'm like one of these people that don't put anything up against your freaking house. I don't care what it is, just don't put it up against your house. It backs your, all that growth just stays there. It's not so much the object against the house, it's all the growth behind it, the weeds, all that stuff, and then it gets overtaken, and that's actually not good for your house either, right? like next year, there's going to be a major difference in how this house, like it's going to be a lot drier. It's going to be a lot cleaner, right? Mainly due to the, all these methods that I'm going to try. Again, even if they're only half successful, that'll be more than enough. It's not as bad in here as you think. Like, again, the counters, the fridge, all that stuff. If you get that stuff, smelling like Mr. Clean all the time, you'll never notice the other smells. You know what I mean? You might notice it faintly if you go into the basement. But the idea is just like the cheapest solution is air it out. Second cheapest is just keep it clean. Keep your place clean, if you have to do like a major cleanup every 2 months, scrub the walls, floors, or whatever, you do that. If you're one of those people that, mop your floors once a week, if you have time to do that, do that. Because eventually what's going to happen is the stinky floors are going to take on the the smells of the better stuff. So if the products you're using are odor eliminating, eventually it'll overpower. Because the worst you don't want to mask the smell. The worst when you try to mask the smell, what happens is it's like the Febreze stuff. Like there's tons of half bottles of Febreze in here. I'm going to use them up, and I might have like one bottle for the bathroom. So you take a big dump. You don't stink out the place. It's a small bathroom with no vent fan, so it's that kind of thing, right? But the thing is what they were doing is just trying to mask all the smells. But you have to remove the smell. You can't just mask it because it's actually worse because you got competing smells, and I find that's even worse. I'd rather deal with a pungent smell than a half pungent smell masked by something that's supposed to smell better. I find that just is the worst of the worst of the worst for me anyway. Your mileage might vary, but I'm just like, no thanks, I don't want that. I don't want that at all. I'd rather just deal with it, and once it's dealt with, like I say, once I got these cupboards spick and span and cleaned out on the bottom here, on the top, I still got to wash from here over, but like there's been holding up pretty good. There's a little bit of mouse poop in there, so they've been running in there, but it's not like this stuff here on the counter. Like, I don't know if I'll switch it around. Like this is like you can see the mouse and you can see all the dirt. Like that's not a week's worth of dirt there. You know what I mean? That's the counter's this color. Nice and clean. Got clean here. Cleaned up the stove. The stove is kind of cool. So easy to clean anyway, so I like that. I finally got this all cleaned out so I can put stuff in there. But just leaving cupboards and stuff open to air out makes a huge difference too, and then just getting all that, one of the problems is that I'm going to have is every time the mice do come in is because they've pretty much mutilated all the insulation up top there. You get big dust pile, like stuff like that dropping. Like mind you, once I close this, they won't be coming in like that. But that's what they're dragging in all over the house in every little crevice. That's why you got to get, because that's what people are breathing. People are breathing in. So you're breathing in those insulation particles. You're breathing in the mouse poop particles. And then just the dirt of not cleaning the place. Again, not to pick on my brother and my sister-in-law, but there's no excuse for that. Like that could have been kept clean, So like I say, most of the smells that I eliminated, you're like, when I come over here, I still smell that carpet. So when that carpet's gone, that's another smell gone. And then of course I haven't gotten a chance to clean in here yet. But as soon as I do, that smell's gone. And then of course I'm going to rip out that linoleum. And I have ripped out the other linoleum. And again, every time, like this room here smells okay. I'm probably smelling more from that room over, like those things over there, than I am from in here. When I get back to the bathroom, I smell like Pine Sol or Lysol or whatever, because I've already started cleaning there. In here, there's almost no smell whatsoever, which is good. In here, almost no smell whatsoever. So that means like this bed isn't going to take on those pungent smells, plus I'm going to stay on top of that too. And the other thing is it's off the floor. I just got to get the drill and fix I got to fix it up. Again, low on the list, but it'll get there, because I'm not sleeping down here yet. So, Not until everything's cleaned up and dealt with to a great degree. Like I say, this is more going to be like my house studio, studio house. Like this here, I haven't cleaned it yet, but you can see like that there, that's smell. That there, that's even that's old, it's smell. But how old is that? Like I mean, I could have been in there for a couple of years. I don't know, and that's just like stuff leaking, whatever. These cupboards here, do a sniff test. You don't really smell anything. You know what I mean? Like, okay, it's a little bit messy in there right now because I'm, stuffing stuff in there. But the stuff in there is actually cleaned off, and I'll go through it and clean it up a bit more. So it's, like the amount of dust that came out of there was unbelievable because of the mice coming through there, through that hole, bringing the insulation with them. That's the stuff that was making them sick. You know what I mean? The table was all full of stuff. The fridge had all kinds of like mold, like, carrots with blue hair on them. You know what I mean? Like, geez, why were you getting sick? Up home, they're doing well. They're not, my dad, like I say, my dad won't allow it to get like it did down here. But, you have to change your lifestyle habits and clean up. So the house up there is spotless pretty much all the time. But the biggest odor that you got in this house is from the dog, not the basement. The basement is probably the second. Once you eliminate clean the place and eliminate all those other odors that are just like easy to get rid of. Like even out on the veranda, like you can smell the dog out there because, like it hasn't been cleaned up. So once I get all that cleaned up outside, it doesn't matter as much, but I'll still, Lysol the crap out of that and, Mr. Clean it and whatever. Just, as you're walking in the house, it's the first smell you're greeted with, right? So, just to get all that out there, you're going to smell like grass clippings and two-stroke and whippersnipper and chainsaw stuff. That's good smells, those are good smells. Getting close to the time. I'll wait another 10 minutes. They're probably like, where is he? I'm going to stop and grab my provisions. I got a bike all the way out there, so I'll probably be there about 10:30. So, and then hopefully, I can't see it taking me too long, but it is pickaxe work, so, and I don't know how much of a shovel they have there. That's the thing, like I told him, I said, I'll grab my pickaxe and I'll, get it there on the shovel, but, it's labor intensive for me just to get back and forth, right? So, like this week was kind of hard on me. Muscles wise, trying to, move that 600-pound stone with the chain didn't quite work out for me. There's a few things that didn't work out. So, there was a lot of, a little bit of chainsaw, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But this pick thing is gonna, at least I got the next 2 days to kind of, I don't have to get up early, but I'm going to be working hard this weekend too, and right through till next weekend possibly. Like I could be working for 3 weeks straight now, and again, stuff like that slows me down from getting stuff done. But it could rain and I don't cut grass. Like yesterday, I only cut grass for 2 hours, and I only cut grass for about an hour and a bit, and I had to find something else to do just to get to 2 hours, right? So I biked for basically an hour. Normally it would be 2 hours, but my dad gave me a lift out there, and that what I mean, like that really, you're doing a lot of cycling, to make very, very little money, you know what I mean? But that's this time of year, so little money coming in is better than no money coming in. But September, October is kind of like the touch and go month. October's kind of usually the last push, and then if I have a little bit of work in November, December, and January, it's good. But I kind of like go with the idea that I'm not going to work again till April, which it makes life so extraordinarily hard for me, because like I say, I have to make all my yearly income between April and October, it's, pretty much seasonal. And then without the car, I don't know how much snow removal I'll be able to do. But even at that, I don't do so much snow removal in the wintertime, and it's just so hard on my body. I just can't do it anymore. You know what I mean? Like, I need the money, but and you have to live, but it's just like, you have to push so hard just to get up in the morning. It's just like, nah, like that's young man work. You know what I mean? So my goal is hopefully to make it through the winter without, with my finances. But I did take on this burden too. So like this is, it's not a big burden, but it's more, But that said, I just got my credit card statement yesterday, and now I am officially 2 months without any debt, right? So, like so that's good. But I'm probably gonna have to put a little bit of credit card debt going into the winter, just for buy the Christmas gifts on the card, whatever. Pay it off, and then I might get some stuff. But I'm not gonna run more than $1,000 because the payments, I have to be able to make the payments, right? Right now I'm going into the winter without having to so far have to worry about any payments, right? So that's the good news, you know what I mean? Like, so there's just one thing eliminated. I still don't have the hydro in my name yet. I want to see if I can get that done this week. It's really depending on my brother, like what kind of mood he's in to call, right? Because we've got to sit and wait for the, it's not like you call and they just pick up the phone, right? It's like you can call like a million times and there's never enough. I mean, they got Hydro-Quebec has to serve like 8 million people, right? So it's like so sometimes it could take you a week just to get through, and like he works, I work, when you call, right? So, and you can call later in the evening, but that's when everybody calls. I'd like to be able to do it in the morning. Problem is he's off to work before their call center's open, and sometimes I am. But for me, I'm flexible enough that I can leave at any time I want, so to speak, on certain days like today. So I could have done it this morning, but again, he's gone before the call center opens up. And again, it's probably going to be like a 15-minute call max, you know what I mean? And then once it's in my name, then I'm good to go. But even if not, like I told him, I said, well, the next bill, I'll just pay it. It's just like that. Like I don't mind, I'll pay it. Whether it's in my name or his, until it's in my name, right? So, but anyway, I'm gonna leave it at about that. I just thought I'd give you guys a morning vlog. But I am researching products to like I'd like to have the house as as deodored as possible. And again, using the cheap stuff. Again, I'm one of those guys, like, don't spend $100 to save 10. If you've got a house that needs, maybe it's too expensive for you to do it, but like if it costs you say $300 or $500 to have your house descented once every 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, whatever, do that. Just pay somebody to do it. Somebody that can come and do it right. You know what I mean? But if you can do it for $250 or something like that, and okay, it's the right product. You got to do research on it. Like the ozone machine, you got to make sure it can cover the amount of square footage that you have. So you got like anything with the furnace, like anything with the airflow. You got to calculate all those things. Once you calculate that, then you know what you're looking for, and you say, okay, this machine for $60 will do the job. Okay, I'll buy 2 of them. And run one upstairs, one downstairs. And that should do it, right? Or you say, okay, I got to buy the machine that's $700. Okay, but the guy, I'm going to do this once every, say, 6 months or whatever, just to, when it, to get it going, or once a month, to get it going because the place is so musty and bad, it's worth it for me to spend that $700. But it'd be like, okay, well, it's one of those things that if I do it once, it's probably going to be good for 10 years. It might not be, it might be just cheaper to get a professional to come in and do it, right? So there is things you can do. And it's the same with like removing the mold. Like I'm going to do all the mold removal before I do the, but if I own my own machine, I could do both, right? So that's the goal, is to just basically do the research before you spend money, do lots of research. And research of a lot of different things, because you have a lot of different options, from very basic to and try the basic stuff first, you know what I mean? Like try the cheap stuff first, But don't buy this cheap product and then that cheap product and then that cheap product and then work your way up to, like, no, just buy the cheap product. If that doesn't do the job, then you need the heavy duty stuff, right? Like, there's like, just either go from one extreme to the other. To, okay, here's the cheapest. Okay, it worked fairly well, but not well enough. I gotta take it up a notch and just do that, because you'll save time, you'll save money, even if you spend a lot of money in the initial, but you solve the problem. Once you solve the problem, that's money well spent. If the problem still persists, and you've spent this solution, that solution, it's the same with vehicles. Like, like I talk about vehicles all the time. Like, when do you say when? Like you buy a $500 car and it's like it needs everything. When do you say when? You know what I mean? Like, at what point do you say, okay, well, I'm just going to lose so much money trying to fix it and it'll never be fixed quite properly. Is it worth it to do it? Or just run it in the ground and start over again, right? So all that. So anyway, I'm going to get my button gear. I got a lot of back breaking work to do today, I'm sure. And we'll see if the pail of mouse doom is going to do the job. Hopefully it will. Because if they're mainly, again, like the mouse dropping there, that's a guy falling from a 20-story building. How do they do that without dying? But if they can land right in the pail, that would be really, really, really cool. That'd be really, 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 really cool. Mice are pretty incredibly at acrobatics. It's amazing what they can jump off of and how high they can actually jump. There's a bit of water at the bottom of this pail, so I'm sure like the bigger mice can actually jump out of a pail like that. You'd be surprised. The little guys can't, but the big guys can. But when there's water in it, they can't. Yeah, I hate to do that to them, but it's kind of one of those things where I can't just keep catching them and letting them go, because there's just too many of them and they're just going to come back in the house. So I have to actually eliminate the problem. So poor little guys. Anyway, we'll leave it at that. There we go.